Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hobby Night. We have another late night stream, and we are going to be working on some more B1s this evening. Now, I've made some progress on some of the models we've been working on over the last couple of late night streams, and I want to share those with you before we begin. So, one of the things that I have done, let's start with the most progressed. Here are our original boys that we were working on. I have, of course, put some texture paint down on them and also applied a lovely dark brown wash. I used Agras Earthshade if you're a Warhammer 40k fan and you want to you like to use Citadel, but you really can use whatever dark brown wash you want. And then I went back over it and I ended up using Talaran Sand as my dry brush color, which I don't know how. I guess when I bring it up closer it shows up pretty well, but I feel like at a distance it's not, at least on camera it doesn't show up well. It shows up well on just like in real life. The one thing this one guy, his eye does not want to maintain the wash for some reason. Like it just like keeps, you see how pale it is? I have no idea why it's doing that. Hello, Raymond. It's lovely to see you. I'm going to see if I can like spot wash it again. I feel like I've spot washed it like several times. I'm going to actually go with a darker color just to like see if maybe it's just the Seraphim Sepia doesn't want to stick. Because the other ones are doing okay. It's just this guy. He's like, no. I refuse. Okay, please. Please stay. Like, that would really just solve all of my problems. You kind of did too again, actually. Let me see if I can spot wash you. I mean, at least, thankfully, you put like a very, very tiny amount of this paint on a brush. You can kind of dip it in there. God, they're all doing it. Why? Why is this first batch doing that when the other batches are fine? Genuinely don't know. Maybe it's just like, I don't know if there's maybe not primer in the eyes. I mean, that doesn't seem normal. Like, that doesn't seem right, but it's just like it's like evaporating out before the color gets in there. But I'm gonna try, like I said, with a darker wash. Yeah, it's just something about like what I did to their heads, I guess. Because like these guys, for example, they're fine. Oops. So you can see his little eyes, so it's all good, but something about those other ones. Okay, I'm gonna let those dry for a moment, but we got the dirt done on those. So the only thing that needs to be done on these guys, but I still need to do it on camera, so we're not gonna work on those today, is rim their bases. Same thing with our B2s, which also have the same base treatment. Oh, and I guess we need to tuft them too, but again, I need to do that on camera. So we're not going to do that necessarily tonight. We will be getting, I think the first thing we're going to do is I have some guys that I got up to the point where they have texture paint on them. I think we need to do that. Yeah, I think it's something about the Seraphim Sepia. Now all their eyes are staying darker. Okay, well, there's one last guy we need to do that on, and then after that, I think we're going to probably get a wash down on this guy, and then we'll probably get some texture paint. Oh no, we need to work on their guns. Okay, there's a couple things that we need to do. So we'll work on the weapons of these 5, because they all need gun work. You know, I'm going to zoom in just a smidge. Okay, so we're going to work on the weapons of these guys. We're going to get these guys, these fresh boys, just completely started. So we'll probably want to get, what the reaction do? I think I'm going to do, obviously we're going to do this first. I think we're gonna then do the wash here, do the basilicanum gray on the ones that need a little bit of weapon work, and then we'll do skeleton horde on these guys, because by the time we finish with these, which we're going to be putting skeleton horde on, the ones that we did the weapons on should be dry because it's not as much paint, which means we can then do the little dry brush, which gives these guys plenty of time to dry. We can do their dry brush, and honestly, we may even, if we're like really lucky tonight, maybe we'll even be able to get some texture paint down on these ones, depending on how quickly that goes. So let's go ahead and get started. I hope everybody is having a good evening. I think the first thing I want to do is I want to, well, actually I don't need to mount you up. I'm just going to do that little spot wash again with some Agrath Earthshade. Because darn it, I want your eyes to pop. Okay, cool. There. I really wanted their faces to stand out a little bit better. You know, that was kind of important to me. Okay, now that we've done that, I think we're going to get... I'm actually just going to move these guys out of the way, bring my paper towel over, get us to sort of a semi-clean looking space, and to make my life easier, I'm actually just going to have these guys on the table, and we're going to apply our wash this way. I figure that way if I end up dripping or anything like that, I don't really have to worry about it. Let's make sure this is close enough. I want to shake it a little bit more. There we go. I've definitely not closed a paint pot well enough in the past and had, especially a shade, and just had paint go everywhere. It was devastating. Absolutely devastating. Okay, let's get a bunch of this on the palette. Just start with one dude. And just keep this around his feet. Yeah, it's so interesting to me. I don't know what I did differently on those first 5, that the wash just didn't really want to stick into the recesses, especially on the heads, but it did. These ones seem fine though. Maybe I got soap on my brush or something. I'm not really sure. I am not really sure. All right. Just making sure my hands are dry so that as I move him off to the side, we don't get paint all over him. Oh my gosh, suddenly there is so much happening in chat. It's Oaks Day here if you're into horse racing. It's been a good day. Oh, cool. You know, Oaks Day sounds familiar, but I actually don't think I know off the top of my head what it is. Is it a specific, like, race day for horse racing? I was really briefly into Uma Musume. I don't know if you're familiar with that anime girl horse racing game that is on PC and mobile. That also has like multiple animes. It was really cute. I really liked it. And that is my extensive and knowledge of horse racing. I've been to one horse racing event, like in real life, which was pretty interesting, like to say the least. Like, it was cool. Don't know if I like... I guess I get why people would bet on it, but it makes sense. Hello, JN Man. It's lovely to see you. Taryn, you have a question. Your brother is interested in doing streaming videos for painting like this. What do you recommend? What do you mean? I'm happy to answer that question, but could you clarify? Or like, are you looking for like equipment recommendations? Are you looking for like setup recommendations? Are you looking for like vibe recommendations? What kind of recommendations are you looking for? Good evening, Havman. It's lovely to see you. Happy May Day. I hope everybody's having a good evening too, Jan Man. I hope you are, and everybody else in chat. You're so glad it's Friday because it's been a very crazy, busy, and draining week. Yeah, it sounded like your week was pretty intense. I'm glad you're getting a weekend to relax a little bit. Anybody doing anything fun this weekend? I'm going to be hanging out with Shay tomorrow at a like food festival type thing. I'm very excited to be doing. We will not be streaming tomorrow for that reason. Apologies, but we're just doing a thing. We will be probably getting some reels and of course posting, or I'll be posting at least while I'm there, to my Facebook and Instagram stories. So make sure you follow me there if you want to see what's going on, if you're missing us. But we should be back, as far as I know, the following weekend. Nothing's come up as other plans, but I do know that later this month in May, we are going to be at Fanime. So we will be missing a stream later this month on Saturday as well. Also Friday. That one we will also unfortunately miss our Friday streams that we've been doing, so. But that's just because of the con. All right, so we've got the wash on. Feeling good about that. Oh, good, it finally closed all the way. Excellent. It was like sealed, but you know, like, I felt like it wasn't squished down all the way. You found me on Facebook? You're a new fan? Well, thank you, Honored One Forever. I appreciate that. Tomorrow's free comic book day? Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I used to be an avid free comic book day participant. Not as much anymore. I actually don't know. You know, there are definitely some stores that sell comics alongside other things, but I don't know if we have like a dedicated comic book store in at least our local area. I know there's some in the area.
This direction of this.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Oh no, I'm not tired at all. I'm just keeping my voice chill. I'm just keeping my voice chill. It's a race day. Tomorrow is the Kentucky Derby. Oh, that's so cool. I guess that makes sense that it happens in the springtime. I just actually didn't really, I've always heard of the Kentucky Derby. I've never actually watched the Kentucky Derby, so I never really paid attention to when it was happening, but it would make sense that it would happen in like mid-spring. Because I feel like we're in mid-spring. So you're looking for setup? So it kind of depends on how you said it was your brother? Okay, yeah. So it kind of depends on how your brother wants to do it. If he is wanting to do it where it's just purely focused on the miniature painting and he's not showing himself at all, kind of like what I'm doing here, then you can be at, like, I'm at a relatively small desk. I have one camera that's mounted on a like desk mounted tripod setup. I have a single over that one light that goes over my desk. It's kind of like Redgrass Gaming has a light kind of exactly like what I have, but I didn't get their specific one because there's a whole bunch of like other versions of this light as available. But like for reference to just see what kind of light I have, I know that Redgrass Gaming has an over the desk like lamp that does the two-tiered flexible concept like what I have. So I would check their site just to get an idea if you're not familiar with that sort of desk thing. And then for my camera, so you really can use, I mean, realistically, you can use any camera. It depends on how close up and zoomed in you would like for it to be.
For our camera setup, we are using a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is quite expensive for a webcam, but we use the camera for a lot of other things.
Yes.
But anything that has a decent macro throw
Exactly.
will work, like a webcam. As for the light that she's using for the...
Oh yeah, can you pull that up?
I can. The software, she's just using OBS.
Yeah, I'm just using OBS to stream. So that's pretty straightforward. And I'm just using a MacBook laptop, but you can really use any laptop. You can also use, if you're nearby, if your brother's setup includes a desktop setup for everything, then he can use that instead. But we just use OBS. I was gonna say, I think I got this as a gift for my family for Christmas.
Oh, okay, yeah, then I don't.
Yeah, so like I said, the Redgrass Gaming has a light that is like very, very similar to the kind that I have. Let me see if I can actually look it up real quick. Might be. No, you're right. You're right. But yeah, so that's basically the basic setup of how I do it. The other thing that you could do is you could of course have a second camera, and that could be a face cam if he wants to show himself, or like if he thinks that might get more engagement. I do both styles. It also kind of depends on the location. Like if he's in like a room, like where, like I'm just in a room in my house at a desk in my house, and I have this little setup. It's off to the side. But I also have my workshop setup, which if you've watched some of my other streams and you've seen me in like my garage, that's my workshop setup. And when we do that, we have a 2-camera setup that uses the DJI still, but that tends to be the face cam set. And then I have a different camera that I'm using as my close-up that gets it focused on the table. And I can basically toggle, well, I can really realistically toggle both of them on and off, but I toggle the table cam depending on like what I'm doing and what I'm working on, and you know, if I need to stretch my back or something, and so I want to like change positions, and it's just suddenly a useless camera angle because you can't see anything because I'm not working directly in that area. So it kind of just, it depends on how he wants to treat it and what his approach wants to be. My best recommendation, outside of obviously all of the other recommendations I've literally given talking about my own setup, is for him to do research and take a look at streamers / YouTube like tutorialists that he likes and see what they might be doing for their camera setup.
That's what they're doing right now with you.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, what I'm saying is like, continue to do that if you haven't reached out to others or checked out other streamers. Like, just see which one fits his vibe the best if he hasn't done that already. But yeah, that's my best recommendation. You heard it's kind of hard to paint things with a camera between your hands and the head. So thankfully, with the way that the DJI is, like its shape, it actually doesn't take up a lot of space. And my head is, I'm not blocked at all. Like, you guys are getting a perfectly top-down position, but when I'm holding a miniature, like everything that you're seeing, I can still see. Like, I'm seeing it at a slightly different angle, I suppose. Like, I see less of the top of his hands than I actually see none of the top of his hands, whereas you can see some of the top of his hands, but nothing's being blocked view-wise. So it kind of just depends on what camera you're using. Like, I don't have a big, chonky, like, DSLR type camera set up in front of me. I have, like I said, the DJI. And if you look that up on on Amazon or Micro Center or whatever, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's a very slim camera, but it's really works super well for me. It's what I've been using for like most of my YouTube videos for like the last year, and like it's been used in every stream. No problem, Honored One Forever. It was lovely to have you in chat for a bit. You heard that? It's kind of... Oh, I just answered that question. Angela, I was working on some paperclip armatures for your miniatures. You was going to trash some, then looked at them again and found a new way to use them. Happy little accident. That's great. That's great, Interceptor 333. Fantastic. It's always nice when you're working on a project and then you're like, especially one that you're like, I'm just not feeling this exactly. And then suddenly you're inspired and you're like, oh, actually, here's how I can use this, or here's how I can improve upon this and make this work to what I wanted it to be like. So that is fantastic news. Okay, the next thing we want to do is I want to get all of these caps off and available. And I'm going to get, well, at least 4 of these lads onto these so we can start working on their weapons. That is the plan. So we're going to use a little bit of Basilicanum Gray, which I think I still have up here. Yes, I do. Probably want to shake it a little bit though. Is being stubborn about getting mixed. You're on your last beer and then you're heading to bed, Graham? Excellent. What beer are you drinking? Okay, I think that's good. It's just you and the nephews until tomorrow evening. Their mom is going to a concert overnight. Got to figure out dinner soon. Probably going to order some pizza. That is I think that's a good dinner for when you've got kids around. Can't go wrong with it, right? They're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. It's easy. You don't have to actually do anything. You can just get it delivered. Have someone else take care of it. Pretty good stuff. All right, let's get them slightly out of the way and start working on what needs to be gray. I rhymed there. I was very charmed by it. I'm just gonna make sure to be a little careful around his fingers. And then of course doing the inside because there's a lot we could flub up. And boys, we don't want to flub anything up. We're in fact trying to avoid flubs. You have not watched any more Zets? That's fine. New episode out tomorrow. I actually need to catch up on Maul.
And with us, what you want to do.
The problem is I really want to be in like a specific mood for that. And it's actually a little like more edgelord. I think now that we're in May, I'll be more inclined
The
because it's
Edgelord month of May.
yes. Yes. Explains why your birthday's coming up.
Yep.
All right. There we go. Looks great. Great chat. Good night, Rex. Have a good evening. Foresters? Oh, I've heard of Foresters. Okay. Do you like it? Is it like your go-to? Or is it a beer of convenience? I'm always curious because I'm not a big beer drinker myself. And so I'm like, which ones are people's like go-tos if I ever... I don't know if I'll ever like it. I just really don't like the taste of hops, you know? But it's always good to know because especially like traveling, I'm like, well, maybe I'll like foreign beers better. And I don't think I tried any beers when I was in England last. Good night, Graham. Hello, 1825 Steam. It's lovely to see you tonight. Hope you're having a lovely day. Hope everybody in chat's had a lovely day. Or is having a lovely day, depending on like what time it is for you. Wow, I just completely pulled all the paint off of that section. Good job, Angela. Let's reapply that, shall we? Very good. Okay. Excellent, excellent. I believe one little section of his weapon that I haven't quite hit. All right, I think he looks good. I'm just doing a little inspection together. Yeah, it looks pretty good, actually. Let's go. Set him there. Oh, he's done. Well, he's not done. He's just ready for the next step. Let's get the next guy. Can I paint chat as one of those portable miniature televisions of the late 1970s? I'm afraid I'm not sure I can, actually. I'm not sure I have that skill.
I bet you do.
Okay, well... I appreciate the vote of confidence. I haven't painted anything like that in like ages. Oh, it makes sense that you would be too tired to watch it last night. Excellent. Thank you guys. I'm glad you're liking the way it's looking. I am too. I'm actually very pleased with how these B1s have been turning out. I'm actually very happy with the B2s as well, if I'm honest. I'm gonna toot my own horn a little. Okay, let's make sure to get this side with the handle. The little thing that I don't actually know like what. Okay, let's see. Okay, you see that little rectangular bit sticking off the side. This thing that I just painted. I don't know why that's there. Like, I know it kind of braces, I think, against, you know, I think it's just this, the nub that they stick into their body when they're securing, what's the word, this weapon on their back. I think that's what it's for. Oh, we're not done. What are you doing, Angela? You're cleaning your brush like, one, like you don't have 3 others to paint, and 2, like you finished this particular boy. Do the B ones all have the exact same voice? Okay.
Roger.
I wasn't sure if there were
I think
any.
sometimes they're pitched up and pitched down, but it's all the same guy.
Okay, I was gonna say, have there been any like canonically like femme B ones?
I don't know.
Okay, I was curious.
Maybe all of them.
Oh my gosh, they're actually all ladies?
I mean, they don't have dicks.
It's true. God, we learned something new today.
I don't think that was new information.
Okay, fair enough. Hello, Neo. It's lovely to see you in chat. How you doing? Like the old CRTVs. Roger, Roger. You have May the 4th off? Heck yeah, you can celebrate Star Wars Day. Next. I got a little too much water into this one, chat. I feel like our gray is very, very pale. We might have to go back over it with a second coat. I mean, we are going to essentially dry brush it, but like do a very, very light dry brush of metallic, so it probably won't matter, but it'll make me feel better because yeah, I had way too much water on that brush. So the problem now is that's a little too much. There, that's better. That is more the tone I was going for. It was more just that I wanted it to be a bit more in the recesses, and I felt like it wasn't. But I also don't think I painted this side of the handle at all. At all, chat. I need to do a little bit of cleanup. Pizza indeed. Might do tacos tomorrow.
Tacos.
Tacos! Let's make sure to get that. Did I forget that on any of these other guys? Nope, got it there. Nope, got it there. Okay, it was just this one. Very well. See you later, Doe. Hello, Black Viking. It's lovely to see you. How you doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a good evening. Do you have any water?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Well, I'll take down your many cups and get you some.
Oh, thank you. I don't know why, but I get so focused when I'm just doing these little antenna tops. I think it's just because I'm trying to be delicate, but looks good. Roger, roger. All right, moving on to... Okay, I'm gonna actually take one of these guys off and put Squatting Boy on, get him in line. So we're ready to go, and then we have two more of these guys. And thankfully the Basilicam gray is actually already dry, so in theory we could do the dry brush, but I'm going to save that for after we have skeleton hoarded the next batch. Oh, thank you so much. You're mad because you severely mangled your dreadnought to the point it's unsalvageable? This morning you got one of your other ones primed and ready to paint, so right now you're trying to muster the energy to start painting. Well, I believe in you. You can do it. I'm so sorry that you ended up like messing up your other one, that you don't feel like you can use it anymore. Here's the nice thing, or here's some silver lining. Not the nice thing, because obviously it always sucks. Feeling like you messed up your model, but here's a silver lining for you, Black Viking. And this goes for anybody else who, especially when you feel like you've messed up something like a dreadnought, okay? Terrain. If you messed it up and mangled it, turn it into a broken dreadnought that gets worked into a terrain piece. That way you are still using the model that you had originally spent money on. You're not just having to like scrap it. You still get to paint it in a way that maybe you wanted to specifically, but maybe now aren't, like, it's not going to be exactly what you envisioned because of the mangling that happened. But at least then you're still getting to do something with it. And I don't know, I feel like it makes use of something that was otherwise originally felt to be not usable. But always turn it into terrain. The same thing for like tanks. I mean, and technically even like Space Marines or other like infantry boys that get messed up, you can always turn them, like you can always cut them up and put them on the bases of like an enemy faction that might want to hurt them and make it worthwhile, you know? So try not to think of it as completely mangled. You're just using it in a different way now. You know? I don't think I got like even any skeleton horde on that side. My gosh. Let me just fix that right now. You made a really cool armature of a warrior with two-handed sword and a beautiful paperclip sword. Very pleased with the project so far. That's awesome. What are you using? Are you just like by hand bending the armature wire, or are you using like pliers? Like, what's your technique for doing that? Because I haven't like, I've done some armature wire work for when I was doing like, yeah, I was gonna say like when I did some work for like on like maquettes in the past. But yeah, it's been ages, so I'm kind of curious like what's your process? Just noticed that he was having a similar problem to some of those other ones. These other guys seem okay. They seem like their eyes seem dark enough, but what does armature mean? So armatures, at least in regards to like sculpting and that kind of thing, are the inner wire work.
It's the
That
endoskeleton on models.
yeah, it's the endoskeleton of the model. So like generally, okay. Have you ever seen an animation team showing off, or like a video game company showing off a large like clay maquette or sculpture of like a character from the game and those kinds of things? Inside that clay sculpture is going to be an armature, which is starts off as a, like he said, an endoskeleton made out of wire. And some people will just do that, and that is their sculpture. They'll just leave it in that form. It's really cool stuff can be done that way. There's a lot of really fun ways to twist and bend metal to do cool things when it comes to sculpture work. But generally, when you're saying armature, it tends to mean that interior exoskeleton. What a lot of times will happen then is they'll pad that armature with, generally, I have found a lot of clay workers will and sculptors will use tinfoil, because tinfoil will grip. You can kind of wrap it around and crunch it to the endoskeleton wire that you've already done and build up some mass. That way you're not having to use clay to fill in that mass, because what will happen, there's two problems with that. One, it gets excessively heavy. Like, it's already gonna be heavy because it's made out of clay, but it's gonna be like infinitely more heavy if it's solid clay, as opposed to being filled with the tinfoil, which is much, much lighter. And on top of that, weight problem. You also have clay is freaking expensive, especially if you're like working with really good quality stuff. And the more that you use to just fill in hollow areas, the more wasteful you're being with your dollars spent. So that's the main reason people do armatures and then fill it with the tinfoil. I think sometimes you can use other materials too, but I've mostly known people use tinfoil. Oh, no problem, Luke. It's lovely to have you here now. At least in the art world, that's generally what it means. All handmade. You find hand tools, needle, nose pliers, channel locks, bolt cutters, wire snippers, sheet metal cutters, Dremel bits. Oh, that's so cool. So you're going full out. That's awesome. That is so awesome. All right. right. Okay, we need to get... Don't get too distracted, Angela. You need to keep working. No, that's so cool. One of these boys had a very pale knee, and I just wanted to fix that. There we go. How weird. How strange. Paint's mysterious sometimes, guys. You're gonna start painting, so you'll be AFK for any last tips? If I have any last tips, I mean, just remember to have fun with it. Painting should be fun, so make sure you're having a good time. Enjoy yourself, and hope you get some work done. That's awesome. Good luck, Black Viking. If it was a gaming tip, you'd say don't die, but you know, that's always a good tip. It's always a good tip. Yeah, it's really generally a good tip for life, isn't it? All right, got one more to do a little bit of Basilicanum Gray on. And then we're gonna swap over to some Skeleton Horde. What kind of pizza is John gonna have? It's a good question. Pepperoni, maybe? I feel like that's a classic for a lot of people. I know he's got the kids, so I would imagine like pepperoni or cheese, something very like simple so that it'll fit their palate. I suppose he could always get like a... I don't know, what is a specialty pizza that you guys like? That maybe you don't get all the time, but you're like, every now and then. Or maybe you get it all the time. Maybe it's your go-to pizza is a specialty pizza. But like, what's a specialty pizza that you like? And I mean, it can be like as basic as like a meat lovers. That like that to me is still a specialty pizza. For me, obviously, if you've been a long-time fan of this channel, you'll know it is ham and pineapple. Shh, it's delicious. Oh my god, get over yourself.
Never.
You don't have to get it. I only get it as a slice when we go to places that do it by the slice. I don't make you suffer through it. For I know you find it to be foul.
It's your fart sound.
What? 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 Wow. They smell like roses. Thank you very much. Do not laugh at me like that. How rude. How rude. In your house, it's seafood pizza? When you say seafood pizza, like, what are we talking? Are we talking like...
Seafood, you eat it.
Oh my god. Is that what you mean? Are you making like a joke of like, if it, no, it doesn't matter, like if it's pizza you'll just eat it? Or do you mean like literally, I mean you said it as seafood as in like fish and like that kind of thing. So like is it fish? Is it like, are we talking like calamari?
Fish and cheese is a weird combo.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing, is like I don't know if I would like I'm just trying to get like a flavor palette properly in my head, because like otherwise I don't know, that sounds like I just don't know what that means exactly. For you, Neo, it would be pineapple, green olive, red onions, veggie pepperoni. That, I mean, honestly, that sounds pretty good. I'm not like the biggest red onion fan. I don't know if I've had green olives actually, now that I say it either. Like I've had black olives, and I like black olives on pepperoni, but I don't know if I've had green olives on pepperoni. Hawaiian pizza is awesome, I agree. Should you paint straight as it is, or do you water it down because you're trying to water it down a little and it keeps screwing up? So it depends on what kind of paint you're using. Are you using like traditional opaques, or are you using contrast colors? Because some certain contrast colors don't necessarily need you to add a lot of water into the paint, but if you're using opaques, then generally I do recommend adding some water, but you don't have to add a lot of water. Black Viking, you can add like my brush is clearly saturated with water right now. I'm trying to get, there we go. Like you can tell my brush is saturated with water. You don't even need this much sometimes. Like you can sometimes like I just dripped off a glob of water. And you see how like that level of dampness, sometimes that's the level of water you need to add to your paint. It really, like you're looking, basically you're wanting to have a like creamy consistency when it comes to opaques. When it comes to contrast colors, you kind of have to fill out a little bit more, because when the paint is really fresh, you kind of don't need to add that much to it, in my personal opinion. When you've had the paint for a little while and maybe you've left it sitting open for, you know, 15 minutes at a time as you're working with that color because you're working on a particular project, it's going to lose some of that moisture because it's just been open to the air. And while it won't dry out quite as quickly or in the same way as, say, some opaque paint bottles can when you leave them just propped open, it still does dry it out over time. So it kind of depends on what you're working with. You're using Citadel paints. So I find that Citadel paints actually need a bit more water than normal because they are so dry. I would not recommend using them. Like if it is like this style of paint pot and it either says like, especially if it says base, if it says base, you're definitely going to want to add water to it, because this is meant to be a little bit of a thicker paint. Layer paints are a little more watery off the bat when it comes out of the pot for GW's Citadel paints, but not that much. So you still were going to want to add a little bit of water to these. At least that's my recommendation. Okay, I think we're done with this one's weapon. Okay, yes. So now that we're done with that, we are going to set them off to the side, take them all off these caps, and get our next batch ready to go. You order custom pizza, you got stuffed crust pizza with pepperoni, mushroom, black olive? That sounds pretty good. I enjoy a good stuffed crust pizza. Don't get it very often, but definitely good. Sausage, green peppers, banana peppers, and onions is your favorite pizza? Again, I'm not like the biggest pepper person, but I'm trying to explore more flavors, especially since I'm trying to grow some of my own like peppers and tomatoes and such like that. I do have one plant that I picked up from a vendor that is, they're called like beefsteak, like Mexican beefsteak tomatoes. Apparently it's going to be a little bit of a pink fruit, a little bit firmer, so not as soft as normal tomatoes, which is good because that's one of my problems with tomatoes, is I find that they're like, especially in slices, too soft. Like, I don't mind them chopped up, like diced, especially like in like a chunkier salsa or something like that, or like a picante. But if they're just like in slices and like on a burger or whatever, I tend to not like them because I feel like they're very just like watery and gross. And so I'm really excited. These are supposed to not be that way. They're supposed to be a little firmer. So we'll see. We'll see. Shake this up a little bit. Pizza place nearby, you used to get pepperoni, sausage, mushroom, and instead of mozzarella, you'd have them use ricotta cheese. Ooh, nice. No beefsteak tomatoes are like 3 inches across. You're trying not to melt down? You think I have stunning hands? Oh, well, thank you. I feel like they look a little dry, but I appreciate that, Luke. Thank you for subscribing, Armando. Lovely to have you join us. Chicken tacos? Not tonight, tomorrow night. Feta cheese is also great on pizza. I could believe that, actually. I could believe that. You guys are actually making me hungry. Even though I've already eaten dinner tonight, I'm like, we're talking about pizza now.
Well, maybe we can do something first.
Yeah, I probably will. I think I might try, when I take my break, I might get myself one of my, I've started, so the other night, I had a snack, and it was my bagel with my like absolute favorite, jam. Why is that so loose? Oh, I don't like how loose that is. Okay, we're gonna paint it, and then we're gonna probably re-glue that after it's dried, because that makes me concerned. It's almost like you're jointed, and it's kind of cool, but I also am very stressed by it. Oh, anyway, so what I was saying is, so the other day I had, sorry, I completely got sidetracked by that movement. Oh my god, it's very stressful. I'm waiting for his arms to pop off. So I had that bagel, right? And I decided, you know what, it's too much bread ratio to the jam, and I really like the jam. And I want to focus on that. So instead I've switched over to English muffins. Delicious. So I think I might get myself that. I might make myself an English muffin. Didn't help that, like, earlier today I went to this super cute shop with Chaos Cultist, and they sold like a bunch of like preserves and like all sorts of like cool stuff.
Nuts, honey,
like nuts,
barbecue sauces.
yeah, it was all like locally produced and made, like dry goods with some preserves and like etc. And it just, oh my god, it was so good looking. Everything looked so good. We were getting some gifts.
You can say Mother's Day.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I should spoil that we went Mother's Day.
They're watching.
Well, I don't know. But yeah, we went and got some Mother's Day gifts. I hope they like it. A reminder that that's coming up for those of us in the US. I think the UK already had Mother's Day. Slash, maybe it's the rest of the world. I don't actually know. Are we like, is America the weirdo that does it like?
Always.
Is this kind of like the metric system where the one weirdos that don't use this the day everybody else does? Might be an odd question. You said your hands are dry. How often do you put lotion on? Never. I almost never use lotion. I should more, but I tend not to. First guy down. Scones and cream with strawberry jam. Ooh. You know, I've not actually had that many scones. They're a little, like, I remember them being very firm when I had one last. And so admittedly, I don't like go out of my way to get them at bakeries. But they actually did have scones at the place that I went to. Okay, you're also loose, but it's your foot. What the hell? You did a terrible job gluing these guys. My goodness, I'll have to fix that. I'll just have to fix that. Oh good, I actually do have glue up here.
I have some nearby if you need.
I got some. Right in front of me, actually. Okay, we may have to do a little bit of touch up just because I just realized that the underside of this guy is not quite as primed as I thought it was. And that will definitely cause the paint to not stick. Let's not forget that leg, please, Angela. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Scones are botched muffins.
I don't disagree.
You know, because of their firmness, I kind of also do not disagree with that. But again, I also don't know if I've had like a good, like, professionally made scone. You know what I mean? So I don't want to fully judge it until I've had like one from a bakery I like, that I trust. It's a lot of unpainted model. Like an embarrassing amount, actually. Oh my god. Angela, what have you even been doing? You have lotion for diabetic skin, you just need to be better about using it. Yeah, I mean, that probably makes sense, especially if it's, you know, something that's supposed to help with any deficiencies you might be getting because of the diabetes that you have. I'm just lazy and don't use it. I think that is almost good. I think we are almost good, chat. I'm just gonna move a little bit more paint around. Make sure that we're in all the recesses on the head, including the eyes. And then all the recesses on the backpack, including the little dotty dots. Alright, there we go. I think that's good. Alright, how are you looking? A little bit pale. We're gonna beef up your chest. And that little thing on the side, because I don't really get paint on it much, it seems. Definitely the shoulders a bit more, because I feel like those always get really pale. I forgot your arms move. That just stressed me out a lot. Alright, definitely get the ridges on the head a bit more. And technically his eyes are going to end up being covered, but we'll paint them in because we can see them. I guess I could glue the arms like facing down a little bit so that we can actually see his eyes. It'd be kind of fun, like he's about to lower the binoculars. We'll see. Alright, I think we found that going this direction actually helped keep the paint on the model. Maybe that's why the other batch ended up turning out so much better than the first one. Because I definitely didn't do that on them, so let's try it with this batch. And they seem like they're coming out okay so far. And I've kind of held them upside down most of the time, but not consciously. Or where I'm telling you guys that I'm doing that. It's interesting only having the down view so the camera bounces. Oh yeah, it's a little bit doing that a little bit because of my slight inconsistency of where I'm holding the model. And so the focus is auto-focusing to a new location. I'll try to be a little more stable for you. You use sunblock year round for your gingery skin? That makes sense. Yeah, I should be better about sunblock, honestly. Although I feel like most people could say that. Oh, this is one of the little special weapons guys. Nice. I believe he has a little flamer. In sunblock's the thing you should be using more than even lotion. Like, I at least try to do it if I know I'm going to be out in the sun for, like, really extended periods of time. But, I mean, like, realistically, if you're going to be out in the sun for, like, even an hour or, like, 30 minutes, like, you're supposed to technically sunblock it up. But most people don't, myself included. Guilty as charged. Occasionally I get a buildup of paint in like some of the little gaps in their torsos, I guess, of their hips. I guess it's technically like the bottom of their rib cage or something. It's just a very low rib cage. Regardless, occasionally paint just like builds up there. So I find if I just like blow very sharply into it, it pop it like a bubble and it's fine. Oh, well, thank you, Luke. You're so sweet. I'm doing this for Star Wars month. And also because I have a tutorial specifically focusing on these guys coming out later this month. Because it's Star Wars month, you see. And I want to get them all finished for that so that you can see the little army of them in the background. And you'll be like, I was there. Well, she painted that one. Woot! Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Really get it into their nose, forehead lines. Okay. Touch up chest a little bit. All right, let's just check on the ones that we've already painted. Yeah, see, the color just does want to pull off the chest a little because it's so flat and wide. But we can force it to be where we want it to be. Okay, you and you, I'm setting off to the side because they both need glue. They both need a little bit of glue. You can be over here, and then he can be our next victim. I mean, subject. You're seeing a Star Wars gig on Monday? That's awesome, Northman. That's awesome. a bit more brown paint on the gun than I meant to originally, but you know what? It's not gonna be the worst. It's also gonna mostly get covered. And it means I definitely don't miss any of the neck, so we'll just deal with it. I think we will just deal with the messiness, chat. Which Star Wars movies are these droids from? B1s are generally from the prequel trilogies. While I do think you might see them in some like content in like the era of what the OG trilogy would have been in.
No, they're all
like
they're all prequel.
well, I was gonna say like in Rebels, for example, they go to that one planet where yes, but for the movies it's just prequel. They are separatist droids. In particular, I would say that these ones belong to General Grievous. Mostly because that's the set they came with. General Grievous is our commander. And you will get to see me paint him, but that one's going to be a tutorial by itself. But the B ones might end up featuring behind him, like in the end shots or something, I don't know. Might be kind of cool. Definitely need a little bit more paint on his eyes. Oh, and also the rest of his head, because I apparently just missed his nose completely on this side. Whoops. Get the antenna. Get the back of the neck better. Fill that back in. Okay. Looking good. How do I feel? How do I feel? I think I feel good. I think I feel good about that. Let's just put a little bit more there. A little bit more there. A little bit more on his chest. A little bit more on that leg. On the front, I think. Okay. Okay, I think that looks good. Just checking everybody who we just painted. You're not one that I just painted, but I noticed that you could use a little bit of a boost around the neck. Color-wise, so I'm just gonna thin some of the skeleton horde down and apply it over top. Maybe hit his eyes a smidge. Pull some of that surface color away. There we go. Cool. Okay. His hands got a little pale. Which always happens. Especially on the, I guess, commander droid for these guys. I also feel like his legs got a little pale. I'm just gonna hit those one more time. I also completely missed that section. Oh my god, and that heel. See, this is why we go back and check our models after they've dried a smidge. Like, did I actually get the entire model? Oh my gosh, no. Is generally what I find. Actually, no. Okay, but that looks a little bit better. Oh, his knee got really pale again. Okay, better, better, better. I feel good about that. Ah, yes, if you only know the original trilogy, then yeah, that would make it a little confusing. But yeah, these are from the prequel trilogies.
They're the Horde troops of the Separatists.
Exactly, they're the Horde troops of the Separatists. If you watch the prequel trilogies, you'll see a lot of them, especially with General Grievous. He kind of likes to beat them up. But I also think they're also his only friends. He's very sad like that. Yeah, I really like them. I really like the B1s and the B2s, actually. These are the B2s. They're a little chunkier. They're a little scarier, honestly. The B1s are very derp and kind of cute, whereas the B2s come out and they're like murder. And then you get into the assassin droids, which are even cooler. Although I think you might have technically some assassin droids in like the more, I guess, technically recent settings. Oh, you forgot to mention you have a nerd strap-on adjustable lens for fine details. Very useful for small characters, I bet. Yeah, those magnifying lenses that you can like strap on and they always make your eyes look like just giant. When you're looking like straight on, when somebody's looking straight on at you, those are very helpful sometimes. I have actually a pair myself. I don't use them very often because I haven't found that I'm working on that small of characters doing that level of detail where I'd feel like I need those because I'm losing focus, but honestly, good thing to have, I think. Oh, does it have a little bit of the Fifth Element vibe? I guess I can kind of see that from what I like kind of remember of the bots in that. All right, did I just completely missed that section of the model. I think that's partially just because it's a little harder to get to with the big brush, so let's get a slightly smaller one. Just get the back of his neck and backpack. Holy cow. Yeah, just that. I just completely missed that. That was on me. That was on me. Shame indeed. My gosh. Shame on my cow. On just like everything. Okay, that's better. So much better. Okay, well now while they dry, let's get the ones that we were working on, their weapons back on these bases. If I can get this guy. Oh, come on. Lift, there we go. Also, I should probably close that. Excellent. You know, before I knew it, what would happen is I would just knock that paint pot right over. You'd cry dramatically. You made IG-88 out of paper clips and bread ties. He's pretty close to the character on screen in Empire Strikes Back. Made Boba Fett too. That's awesome, Interceptor. Dude, that sounds awesome. Moisturizing and sunscreen are your friend. I agree. I agree. I don't always follow that advice, but I definitely agree with that advice. I should grab like one more cap since I tend to be working on these in groups of 5, but it is what it is. Where's my metallic paint? There you are. For your painting rig, for your rig for painting minis is quite a thing. Just watching you change outfits. Ah, well, thank you. I feel like I feel like I make it look a little fancier than it actually is sometimes. Hello, Star Wars Scran. It's lovely to see you. How you doing today? Wasn't getting very good flow there for some reason. Now I am. Maybe we were very slightly clogged. It is very messy, so I'm going to clean that up. There. Much cleaner. How's the inside of this? Not too bad, actually. It was just kind of exploding into the cap for some reason. Sometimes, my one complaint about the Too Thin Coats line is that it just does that sometimes. It's very strange. I think it's a pressure problem. I don't like it. One complaint. Way too much paint on this still. I kind of want this more to be a very precise dry brush almost. Good night, Raymond. It was lovely to have you in chat. You're glad you stumbled across this? That's awesome. I'm doing quite well, Star Wars Scran. It's lovely to be able to chat with somebody new. I mean, I love chatting with my regulars as well, but I don't think I've seen you in chat before, so welcome. Lovely to have you here. Tell me, what is your favorite Star Wars, either movie, could be television series. You could tell me your favorite book, but I probably won't know it as much because I haven't read too much of the EU content, but obviously you must be a Star Wars fan with that name. Tell me what your favorite Star Wars thing is. You think you'd use sunscreen more for as much sports as you've played? You've had girls make a point to put sunscreen on during your co-ed softball tournaments? I mean, yeah, you would, that would probably be a thing you'd probably think you'd pay attention to more, but honestly, I've known plenty of sports people who don't give a fuck about putting sunscreen on, so. To be fair, especially a lot of dudes, but also women. It's really not specific. Looks good. You're one of those that may not always know or like the subject, but you always enjoy art tools and different detail stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of the same way. Although I will, people will probably say that, like, Angelina, you know a lot of nerd subjects, and that's probably true. I consume too much, but I enjoy it. But yeah, any new art techniques, like watching people paint, it's always a lot of fun. Partially why I got into doing this, because I was like, oh, that looks cool and fun to do. I bet I could do that. Well, yeah, I mean, it would be kind of awkward for them to be rubbing it into you. Your favorite Star Wars media is the original expanded universe made under Lucas, specifically the comic series called Dark Times. The story and art is incredible. I will admit, I've probably seen art from that potentially, just because one, I do know I've seen art for some of the comics for Star Wars, especially back in my college days, but even like just in essays and stuff. So I'm sure I've probably seen that one, but I admit I do not recognize it off the top of my head. I'll have to look that up later. That sounds cool. What is the what's the plot like without too many? I don't mind some spoilers because I'll probably not get around to reading it anytime soon and therefore forget everything. But what's it about? Who are we starring? Is it a character I would know, or is it EU specific characters? Oh, do you have it? Okay, but you do have some.
Since Dark Town, it's coming up.
Oh yeah. Oh, does this have her in it?
Yes.
So this is one of the Star Wars books that we have. I actually haven't read this. I know
It's old. It's Legends now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think this is canon anymore, right?
No. About Luke's descendant.
Oh, very cool.
With a woman who doesn't exist in canon.
Oh, excellent. Oh, there she is. Look at her, Darth Talon. So badass. So I think this is what, and I'm behind on the Darth Maul.
Yeah, you're only 4 episodes in.
Yeah, I'm only 4 episodes in. I think there's 4 episodes that are out that I've not watched. But this is my. I agree with the theories that I don't remember her name now in the show, but the girl Twi'lek, like the red Twi'lek girl in Darth Maul, could be Darth Talon, like a retelling of her. This is Jan Dursame's art. Awesome. I mean, honestly, it is gorgeous. It's really, really good. It kind of gives me a little bit of, like, Frazetta, but, like, sci-fi, like a more sci-fi, like a hard sci-fi twist, if that makes sense. There's just, like, maybe it's their poses in the contrapposta that they kind of have going on. Pasta. Not that kind of pasta. But I really like it. And honestly, the interior art is great. You know what I love? I love when the interior art matches the cover art. I hate when comic books get like a really cool cover artist and then like the artist inside is not the same and it's not as good. Like it's very disappointing and I feel deceived. I mean, is that meant to be Luke's? I wonder if that is Luke's descendant, because if it is, he just looks like a blonde Anakin. Is that him?
No, that's him talking about his grandfather, his great-great-grandfather, because he's also Anakin's descendant. He has Luke and Anakin in him.
I understand that, but this is the descendant kid, right? Because this is not.
That is him.
Okay,
that's Anakin. Either he does look exactly like.
No,
Anakin.
I think this is him.
Okay,
I think that we're just seeing him from a different angle.
It has been well over a decade.
That's fair. Okay, because I mean, honestly, the art is gorgeous.
Yeah, he's
Definitely should. Aww, I earned a sub because of that. That's awesome. That's set 125 years after the original trilogy. Okay, so is blonde boy is blonde dashing young blonde boy, is that on the cover? Is that Luke's?
Yes.
Okay.
And yes, Anakin's genetics are very strong.
Yeah, I can tell. I'm like, he is like a. You know what he looks like? He looks like Kenny Omega if he was in Star Wars verse.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when Kenny had like the black underneath and then the blonde top? Like, I know it's partially the style of how they're inking this that's making that more prominent, especially in this this picture. But like, look at that man's face. That is fucking Kenny Omega if I ever saw it.
To describe him for you, he's a bit of a...
He's Cade. That's his name.
Yeah.
Is it Cade or Kade?
Cade.
Cade. Okay.
I also believe that for you, just to give you older, more mature Gene Starwind.
Okay.
Still running from things though.
Okay. All right. Okay. I can get behind that.
No, he's a dashing space cowboy rogue from like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's kind of why I was like, I almost get, you know what else it gives me the little bit of vibes of? And this is probably, like, Lucas would probably flip his shit, because he so want to do this. It gives me Flash Gordon vibes. A little bit. Oh. Oh. Kate Skywalker? Okay, awesome. Excellent. Yeah, okay, I'll definitely have to check it out more thoroughly then, especially during Star Wars month. I'm really dedicated.
It's a well illustrated comic.
I mean, look, just flipping through it, it looked it. One of the things for me that really draws me in, especially to Western comics, because like I will admit, the thing that got me into comics originally was manga. Like I am a otaku through and through. And manga is what got me into comics first. But that is what encouraged me to go to art school. And then that exposed me to a lot more Marvel and DC, but also Star Wars and like just Western comics in general. Because honestly, the problem, especially with Marvel and DC, and I still think they have this problem, but I think they've gotten better at it. I think some new readers have no fracking idea where to start because they never make new characters anymore. It's just constantly telling, I don't even know if it's necessarily new stories. Sometimes I think it's just them retelling old stories with new art about the same characters over and over again. And like, don't get me wrong, there are some Batman stories that I love, but I also don't need infinitely more Batman. Like, let him retire, do something different, move forward. I feel like people will accept it now. Flash Gordon is one of those that you want to find the old serials of. I could believe that, Brendan. Gene Starwind, that's a name you haven't heard in a long time. Dude, Outlaw Star is amazing. You can find it all, I think, on,
It's on
YouTube. You can watch the entire series on YouTube. Which if you've never seen Outlaw Star,
watch it in sub.
Watch it in sub, and enjoy it because it is quite a lovely series. Do they match? I still feel like they're a little bit more brown than the first boys, but that's okay. Maybe I just need a... I know I used Ivory Tusk as my dry brush. I'm gonna do that with a little bit of Skeleton Horde mixed in. And I just want to see if that gives me a better color. Yeah, I think it does. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this like the gentlest of highlights. Kita, I love you. Does that look more like them? Honestly, yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I feel so bad. Poor Kita has had a little bit of a sneeze for the last couple of days. And I think it's just allergies. I'm like a little stressed. I want her to feel better. Oh my goodness, Kita. Like, I feel so bad. Oh my gosh, Luke, thank you so much for being a member for 17 months. Angela, you will then have, except you are more gorgeous and beautiful and smarter than ever. And I love CC more and more. See you on the flip side. Oh, well, oh my gosh, Luke, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much for being here. I know it was probably very early, or like either late into the night or very early into the morning for you. So thank you for being here. I totally just fucked that up immensely. Hold on, I have to fix this chat. I just borked it real hard. Oh, baby girl, it's okay. Yeah, he just really did not want to take paint after a little while. Weird. Okay. It's fine. Some of them can be a little darker, I guess. Oh, I hate how inconsistent they are. Oh. Okay, because like these guys are basically done and these guys are basically done. Man, I really hate how this first batch is washable. It's actually genuinely upsetting. Because it dried in a way that it like left this weird white like fuzziness around the like recesses.
That was nice of Luke.
Yeah, I know, right? He is so distressed.
Did she get dinner?
She did, yeah. Maybe she just wants to go into her chair.
She's outside the room.
No. Well, Kita. Wow. Yeah, you are a cat. She has to tell me about it. I feel like your face is like way too dark.
Whoa, you can't just tell someone that.
Well, this droid has a dirty face.
Whoa!
It's the... Oh my god. Like, what are you on about? I know. Oh my gosh, Kita, please. You come in here. Come here. Come here, baby girl. The sun is rising? Oh my gosh. Well, yes, please get some rest. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Star Wars Scran. It's really lovely to have you say that. Oh, come here, little girl. You can come into the room. Okay, I'm going to get her, chat. I'm going to pick her up. Meow. Hi. Yes, I'm going to pet you. I'm going to pet you. Yeah, I'm petting you. All right, we're going to lift you up. Oh, yep, you're going to sneeze a smidge. But I'm going to put you right here. I'm going to move this book so that you don't end up getting anything on it. Like you don't sneeze your little cat snot onto it. Might be the cutest cat snot. But have I ever built one of those 30-minute mission mech kits? You know, I don't know if I have. I do actually have a kit for Star Wars that I'm going to be doing in probably a stream or two. And it is I believe it's a TIE fighter?
Interceptor.
It's the Interceptor? Okay, it was like, I couldn't remember if it was the fighter or the Interceptor. It was one of those. And I'm very excited. I think putting her on the beanbag next to me solved the problem. Solved her little kitty problem. Wow, I totally didn't paint that part of the arm. Smooth. Oh no.
You okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at the models and deciding whether or not I'm happy with them. I think overall, yes. Oh my. Wow, are you just walking around over there? Speaking of mechs, you've downloaded and played Phantom Brigade 2.0 demo this afternoon, and it was surprisingly good. Well, that's awesome to hear. You know, I feel like I vaguely recall Phantom Brigade. Is it a JRPG? I'm assuming it must be, but I actually don't know. Yeah, she's announcing her presence, all right. I wonder if it's a full moon eek. Your cat just going bananas all day too. Oh no. Oh, you mean a full moon week? I do think there was a full moon relatively recently, possibly, so that might be the case. Maybe they are just going insane because of the moon. Okay, I'm just gonna set all these guys off to the side and put them in a little row and be like, do they look good together? Do they look like they blend? I'm gonna like literally mix them up. Be like, outside of the one whose face I know. Oh God, yeah, I think they blend. Can I do anything to you? Can I do anything to you, little droid? These little headbands. A smidge. Oh my gosh. Oh. I think that's fine. Thank you so much for being here, Star Wars Scran. It was lovely to have you. May the Force be with you, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I have Mr. Turbo. I have been watching the Maul Shadow Lord series. I am 4 episodes behind. So no spoilers. But I've seen the first 4 episodes and I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. You joined an artist contest called The People's Artist, hosted by Johnny Depp. starting May 4th. Don't know much about it, but there's a $25,000 prize up for grabs. That's awesome, Interceptor. Dude, that's so cool. I hope you win something. And if not, I still hope you have a great time, make some connections, meet some other Star Wars nerds. What do you, like, do you know what you're bringing specifically to it? Like, have you figured that out? Turn-based strategy game with team building and exploration. Okay, that makes sense. That's kind of like, I think that's like a subgenre of JRPG in a sense. Like, but I could be wrong about that. But that makes sense. I've definitely seen games like that. Okay, what do we need to do next? Next, have we done all of the metallic on all of these? No, we have not. This one hasn't. Okay, so that one does. This one does not. Obviously, these are the 4 that I just did the skeleton horde on. I think all of these guys are done. No, I forgot to get the metallic on that one. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. And like I did it partially on the weapon, but not fully and definitely not well. And definitely not on the antennas. Oh my gosh, Kita, I will feed you in just a moment. I'm assuming that's what she's whining about. I'm assuming she... Oh my gosh, Kita. You okay? Okay. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take a little 10-minute break. I'll be back just after 7 o'clock, and the stream has been helping you regain your painting motivation. That's fantastic. I'm probably gonna butcher your name, but I'm gonna try. Zonzilla? I hope I said that correctly. Zonzilla, that is fantastic. I'm so glad that it's been helping you regain your painting motivation. I would love to know, and please tell me when I come back, of course, because I'm gonna go take that break in just a moment. But I would love to know what you're painting specifically, or what you're getting motivated to paint here in the future, because that's so exciting, and I love that that's happening. And yeah, we'll talk about that some more when I get back. Everybody, I will be back in about 10 minutes. I'm gonna go give Kita some food, grab myself probably that English muffin with some jam on it, because I've been totally obsessed with that jam, and I will see you guys very, very shortly. Be back in 10 minutes, everybody. Hello, everybody. I think I enabled the wrong thing at first, and I don't know if you guys could have heard me. I got myself a snack. Look at my jam. It's delicious. I'm gonna eat a little bite of it. Yay, I got a correct pronunciation. Heck yeah. That is so rare for me. I'm so proud of myself, Zanzilla. Your pizza's here? Excellent. Great timing. Okay. So I have my snack. Some of you have dinner or yourself a snack. Let's keep painting as well. It is quite yummy. I think I'm gonna try a little bit of a different style of English muffin. The guy that I get my jam from recommended an sourdough, and I had been considering sourdough when I got my first batch of English muffins for it, but I was like, you know, I haven't had English muffins in a while, and I don't remember how, like, frankly chewy or like dry, I guess, the sourdough ones are, because I like, and when I was a kid, I wasn't really a sourdough person. Definitely turned into more of a sourdough person as I've gotten older. I think I'm gonna try it because I don't know. I think it's gonna work well. I think it might enhance the flavor even more. Even more. Thank you, Neo. Thank you guys for the welcome backs. So I believe on Tuesday we're doing a garden stream, and I'm really excited because not only am I building my next little greenhouse, which I'm at the point where I do think I actually need it because of how large some of the flowering plants are getting and how some of the fruiting plants are getting. So we're gonna work on that, I believe, on Tuesday. But I don't know how long it's gonna actually take me. I'm pretty proficient. Let me just brag here, guys. I'm pretty proficient at building this greenhouse. I've only built like 3 of them. Well, this will be my.
What are you gonna do with the gardening?
Well, so I was actually going to, and I was actually telling them about my plan. So I bought a couple of larger pots today. And I think one of the things I'm gonna do on camera with you guys, if I have the time, which I suspect I will, is I'm gonna repot one of the large hollyhocks that I have, because honestly I know this thing can get huge and I think it could take a slightly larger pot, so I'm gonna do that. And I might also in that process end up repotting a few other things too, because I'll have opened that one up. But I also got some other large pots, and I think I might move a couple of my roses into them so that they have even more space, so that they can get bigger roots and potentially produce even more of a bushier bush, which would make me very happy. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm very excited. You like sourdough a lot? Yeah, I think like as I've gotten older, I've really grown a fondness for it. I also think the sourdough will hold together better. Oh my gosh, little sneezes. As a like platform for this jam. This jam's so much, it's so good. We all hear you. I've made her tall, everybody. I am treating myself. I'm treating myself to delicious, homemade farmer's market jam on a lovely English muffin while scritching this cat and working on some Star Wars miniatures. It is a lovely night. And I hope you guys are all having a great night too. Are you having a good night now that I'm scritching your little face? Kita looks at me with an expression that says, yes, mother, I am. I am having a good night because of that. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Wow. Seriously, baby girl, I have work to do. I am trying to entertain the masses. It is a hobby night. You're right, Neo. Do you want to be in my lap? Is that the problem? Are you wanting lap time? Okay, hold on. Let me adjust and get the blanket in my lap because I don't want you to pick this cute little dress that I have on. You want to get my lap? Is that what you desire? Let me cross my legs so she has more space. She really likes to like lay out when she... Okay, can you step up here yourself? You want to come up here? Chat, I'm trying very desperately to get her into my lap. She's entertained because she stopped meowing and that's how you can tell, but you can do it, come on. Do I need to lift you? I'm just gonna nuzzle my knee like a cute cat. She's definitely intrigued. All right, I'm gonna lift her. Yeah. There we go. How's that? I don't know if you guys can hear her purring or anything. Everyone should treat themselves. I agree. I've been trying to do like slightly healthier snacks like this, where I have like, you know, this has only like 5 ingredients in it, and the predominant ingredients are strawberries and peaches. And then there is some sugar in it, and then there's whatever the stuff that you're supposed to put in jam that helps it stay like jammy. It was called fruit something, I can't remember what it's called. And then there's like one other ingredient that I can't remember what it was either, but there's like just 5 ingredients or so. You're treating your nephews to pizza? That's a good treat too. Okay, I think we got everything we need to on this guy. Hi. Kita just got really, really into my face. Are we rotating? Oh, I think she might settle, guys. I think she might finally lay down. Oh, she's doing it. Cat down, cat down. She has settled into my lap. I'm actually gonna get a cute picture of her real quick for my Discord and for the channel on Instagram. Here's my camera, there it is. Cat. Kita. You wanna look up at me? Kita. All right, well, she didn't want to look. Oh, oh, oh. There we go. There we go. Hell yeah. All right, we got a little cat looking up at us. How adorable. Okay, now back to painting. Stop being distracted by the cute fluffy animal in your lap, Angela, and paint. Oh yeah, the guy that does my jam, he does do a lot of interesting flavors. My favorites so far that he's had me try, because I've tried a fair number of them. The jalapeno strawberry is actually really good. I haven't really found a good thing to put it on. Oh, are you abandoning me already? Tail. Cattail. Cattail. Where are you going? Are you just standing to be standing, and now you're getting your tail to bear me on camera? I'm just waiting for her to settle back down. I'm also trying to keep her from getting her tail into my paint, which is causing her to flick her tail more. Oh, we're settling back down. There you go, baby girl. Yeah, look at the size of that brush, exactly. What are we doing? Are you sniffing? What are we doing? The pineapple one was good. That's also one where I'm like, I'm really not sure what I'd put it on. You know what I actually think it would go well with? Pulled pork sandwiches. I think the pineapple jam would be an interesting like sauce basically to put on a pulled pork sandwich, because I think the pineapple flavor would go well with a barbecue. And for some reason, I just think it would pair well with pork. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll try that at some point. Don't really know. Kita has settled back down. I'm going to take one more bite of my jam. I'm going to then chew for a little while because it was a really big bite finishing off the dish. What I actually want to try the next time I go to the market, which will be this Saturday, which is tomorrow, like tomorrow morning, is I want to try his hot honey.
Excuse me?
It's hot. It's a spicy honey. It is a honey with jalapenos in it. And he's got he's got like a hot one, and then he's got a hot honey. Oh my gosh, calm down. And I haven't tried that yet, but honestly, it sounds really good, and I like honey. So I'm like, that might be fun. I'm also going to check and see if the plant store has any of some pitcher plants. It's actually going to be a very like market heavy day for me, which I'm pretty excited for, because I'm going to go to my normal market in the morning, and then I'm going to go to like a food market with Shay and Chaos Cultist and Seth tomorrow, which should be very, very cool. Hyped for it. I hope it doesn't suck. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's mildly spicy, but I wouldn't say it has like a huge spicy kick to it. Then again, I also haven't done like a full like massive amount of it, so I don't know like if you were to put it on, say, I don't know, a bagel or something like that. Like maybe you had like an everything bagel and you wanted to put even more things on that everything bagel, so you went with like jalapeno strawberry. I don't know how like spicy a big bite of that would be. I don't remember it being super spicy though, the sample size. And I had a pretty big like sample scoop. Oh, it could be a base for a wing sauce. Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. Like a pineapple, like barbecue, like hot, like spicy wing sauce. I wonder if the pineapple and like hot honey would go well together, or if that would end up being too sweet. Although pineapple's pretty tart. I mean, he adds sugar to the jam, so like it does have a little bit of an extra sweetness to it, which is partially why I really like, yeah, jalapeno strawberry jam. I've also seen people, actually at the place we were at today, there was like a whole line of like jalapeno jellies, which my mom's done a little bit of, and supposedly they're pretty good. I haven't actually had jalapeno jelly before. I'm not a big jalapeno person, but because of the combo with the strawberries, it worked really well. Like the strawberries like softened the jalapeno flavor, because I kind of like the kick of heat jalapenos give, but I don't necessarily like their flavor by themselves that much. So like the strawberries really toned that jalapeno flavor down without really taking away too much of the spice you get from jalapenos. And I really got the impression, just based off of that spicy levelness, that he wasn't using too many of the seeds of the jalapeno in there. I think it was mostly just the meat of the jalapeno, which is still spicy, but not as spicy as consuming the seeds. So, really good stuff. We have done it. We got all of their metallics done. Okay, let's see. I think the next step is I think I want to go ahead and get the texture paint on these guys, actually, because that's going to take overnight to dry thoroughly, so I want to just get that done. Now let's see, is this the one that has... Yeah, this is the one that still, I think, has active paint in it. This one, I think, is this is the pretty empty one. Alrighty. Got a nice big glob out. Trying to be a little careful around the feet so we don't like bury them. I never really paint this as sand too often. It tends to be like more just like a lighter dirt, so I don't want it to be sinking too deeply into it. I think I need a little bit of water on this brush. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah, it should be fun. Hopefully we'll get to have some tasty food. That's my main objective. Have some tasty food with my friends. Oh. Keto almost sneezed again. She actually did stay in my lap though. It's been a while since she's like done this while I've been streaming and painting. She does it sometimes when I'm painting and like not live, but she tends to not like to do it, I think, when I talk to myself. Or when maybe she treats it as I'm talking to myself. I mean, it's really just me talking to you guys, but I think she thinks I'm talking to myself sometimes. I think she might think that I'm crazy, guys. I think that just might be what the cat thinks. She might be accurate. She might have a point. I am going to need to take... oh my god, I feel like you're so much paler than some of these other guys. I have to try to fix this. Close that because I don't want it to get dried out. It is like super bugging me. May have a little bit of that. Sorry, I'm sorry. I was just trying to get your attention. Sorry. May I have a draw? I'm so sorry.
Tap on the shoulder would have been good.
I am so sorry. I thought I was getting to your shoulder. I didn't realize I was so onto the chair. My apologies. Sorry about that, everybody. I accidentally scared the bejesus out of Cece. I'm so sorry for that, sweetie.
Keep my headphones on.
No, you don't have to keep your headphones off. You can absolutely, it's fine now. I was still speaking too softly, and that I think was the problem. And it just didn't get your attention well enough, and then I ended up touching the chair in a very awkward way.
You just shook my chair.
Yeah, I bumped it as I was trying to go for your shoulder. Basically, I want to compare him to this guy because I really think that guy looks good. Yes, Kita, you are a good girl. Yeah, I know, I feel so bad. At the moment, all you have planned to do is some cleaning tomorrow, besides hanging out with the nephews. Well, that sounds like a fun plan. As well as kind of being productive, which is great. What I've decided to do is to add basically just a stronger highlight to him without getting it into the recesses too much, and then just doing some skeleton horde back over top to rebalance it. Because at this point, that's my only option. Okay, so got that. It's a little paler. Let's get some skeleton horde. And into smidge. Honestly, yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Taryn, welcome back. Have I played Star Wars tabletop game with these? So yes, I have played Legion with these models, which is what they are meant for. I've also, not with these models, but I've also played the tabletop board game Star Wars Imperial Assault, which does feature, well, can feature B1s.
It has B1s.
Yeah, it has B1s in some of it. He just ended up so much more gray. Did I like skip a step on these guys or something? It's so weird. Like, I know I'm kind of low-key obsessing over this, but it bothers me that I got such a different color scheme.
Priming difference?
I don't think so. I think I don't know, like... Is this, like, are you just pure skeleton horde? No, you're definitely not. You definitely have the tone change if I did the wash. I just think I got a better color out of the second batch than I did the first one. Like, I ended up making them, like, weirdly, like, grayish. I'm trying to see if I can bring it back a little bit. No, he wasn't playing a scary game. That was honestly probably why it was more terrifying, because I was playing a casual game. The guy looks cool. Killian calls me his favorite uncle, even though we have no relation whatsoever. Oh, that's cute. That's fine. I have done it. But you can kind of still tell that he's a little tanner, which is fine, I guess. God, it just bothers me so much.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm just gonna stop messing with him. Subassembly was a mistake? Oh no! What have you subassembled that you feel like you're making errors on? I hear the ice cream truck outside, which seems kind of late. But maybe I'm just hearing some other kind of music. I'm not really sure, but I feel like I'm hearing music in the background very faintly. You know what? I think that helped a little bit. They're not quite as yellowy. But they're a little bit better. It's a little bit better. I like it more. This thing is no, this is for paints. For paint pot to sit in. Where is my skeleton hold? There it is. Oh, that's so much better. Cool. You want ice cream now? Praise corn for sprue glue? Hell yeah. Oh, did you end up sprue gluing one of your, because you were working on some dreadnoughts, was it? Zanzilla? Or was it something else? think I need a little bit more water on my brush, guys. Oh, yeah, I actually have heard that the Morghasts have some unfortunate just gaps. Dude, there are just some GW models that do that. It's so annoying. There's also some where they just like make really weird decisions for how they connect things. I will never get over that one particular dreadnought model having like a toe that's like in two pieces on the sprue. It was so stupid. It was completely unnecessary. I think they blend better now. Just want to spend a little bit of time on that because it was really bugging me. Here are the two. Oh yeah, they match so much closer now. Like this guy's still a little bit darker, but it's not nearly as like obvious, which I don't know, it was really bugging me for some reason. I don't know why. Have I had a chance to play Rogue Trader? Oh yes, Neo. Admittedly, I have not tried the more recent DLCs, but I played the first, I played through the entire game plus the first DLC to completion. And I had a grand time with it. On the channel, yeah. So if you ever want to watch it, you can definitely go do that. Sorry, excuse me. But yeah, I loved Rogue Trader. Looking forward to Dark Heresy. I've heard positive things so far, which is great. Okay, what do I want to do next? I think I'm going to continue to get these guys whose... Oh, I didn't finish doing your metallics. You're the other guy that I was forgetting to do. Okay, so I need a little bit more of my metallic paint. Thankfully, I still have a little tiny bit left on my palette. Is it any good? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, no. Alocat Games did an exceptional job with Rogue Trader. A really, really good job. I would highly recommend it. If you've played the tabletop, like the old Fantasy Flight Games CRPG or tabletop RPG, then you'll probably grok the system pretty quickly because it's the same. Like there's some nuances and it's doing a lot of the math for you behind the scenes, so you're not having to think about it. But if you remember that D100 system, it's the same D100 system. Really good stuff. Love it. Go play it. What I say. One part is one part in the manual is wrongly labeled. Oh no, I hate that. Oh, that's such a bummer. I'm so sorry. Well, hopefully you can salvage it. It's not too big of a deal. Great quality control, GW. Great quality control. Seriously, you think they would be a little bit like better about that? Oh my gosh, Kita. Hope her little allergies go away soon. Okay, I think you're good. I'm just gonna do now a little double check of all these guys. Make sure I'm satisfied with how the metallic is looking. Make sure I did the metallic on all of them. Okay, so these two are definitely good. Let's check. Squatting boy, he looks good. I did miss a little bit there. Oh, I'm officially out of paint. You never played the board game, but the PC game looks cool. I would really recommend the PC game. Like I said, I've played through the main campaign and one of the DLCs. So can at least recommend that stuff, and I can only imagine that they've continue to add great stuff. Like I remember the Arbite DLC looked really cool, which is one of the ones I haven't tried yet. I guess the one thing I will say is it's a long game if you want to play it in full. So be prepared for that. But otherwise, yeah, great game. Check it out. What's our other guy? Okay. All right. So we're gonna get texture paint on the rest of these guys. It was fixed thanks to the sprue glue. That's great. Giving Kita a pet, so she's been sneezing. Yeah, you're good girl. You're in your big cushion. Oops. Close that paint. Then open the one you actually need. See if we can reactivate some of this that we already had our outlet. Yes. Yes, we indeed can. So I'm going to swap to a slightly more open stance guy, just because of how kind of where this glob is. You could easily sink like 100 hours into the Rogue Trader, especially if you ended up getting all the DLC. But you also like can just go slow. Like I spent a long time in it because I was streaming. I think it ended up being like 71 episodes or something. Like I said, if you want to check out my Let's Play of it, you can see that here on the channel. Just so you can get a feel for how it is. But honestly, it's really good. I do recommend it. She's just sneezing. There we go. Next. Something very cathartic. Or I guess, I don't know if cathartic is the right word, but there's something very satisfying about smooshing texture paint around. I don't know. I get really, like, zen with it. I need like a smidge of water on my brush though. Any basing tips for someone who's never based a model before? So I recommend either doing one of two things to get yourself started with basing. Either pick up a kind of texture paint like what I'm using here. Does not necessarily need to be Citadel. You can get texture paints from a variety of companies, but I do use the Citadel ones because I find that having a pre-mix like paint.
Be patient and let the stuff dry. It won't look it won't look out of the pot the way it looks dry.
Yes, yeah. Don't stress out too much if it isn't like exactly. Oh my gosh! Do not even. I was like, what is happening? Don't worry if it doesn't look exactly like the way that you expect it to when it's still wet. It will dry differently. It'll be like this. This feels very like thick and kind of goopy right now, but it's gonna dry to be a lot more. Like I've done extra work to this, but it'll be flatter and just like it's a really nice texture. Know that if you are using texture paints, the heavier you apply the texture paint, the longer it's going to take it to dry. So make sure to be patient and give it plenty of time to dry before you start doing anything else to it. And also the more textured it generally will be. If you want a even flatter look, you can go like really thin with your texture paints. Now, if you don't have texture paints, but say you have like grass or something like that, and I'm not talking like tufts of grass. I'm talking about like the bottles or like little pots of grass or whatever that you can get from like the Army Painter or Citadel makes some. Woodland Scenics is a big maker of this kind of stuff. That you can actually apply with just PVA glue. Put a little bit of PVA glue down on your base, and then shake out, probably while you have it going into an additional container so you're catching your mess. Shake out your grass fluff. God, what is the name for that? Like, I'm blanking. There's like a technical name for it in the hobby community, and I am like, yeah, but you don't have to use it as the static grass type. It's like but it is that grass style. I don't know. I can't remember now. There's like there's another word for it, and I'm not thinking of it. But you can apply that with just PVA glue. Put the PVA glue down first, and then kind of almost dip it into it. But you can also sprinkle it onto it. Tomorrow you prime. Hell yeah, that's great. Congrats on getting your build done. Glad you were able to salvage it with your sprue glue. Sprue glue is awesome. Great gap filler. Is the texture paint the same stuff you use when you do the mud on the bases? Yes. Yes, it is. The stuff I am applying right now. Okay, so like just for an example, talking about the texture paint. So this is like very wet texture paint. This is one I just applied. This is a texture paint that has dried a little bit. You see how much more textured it's become? So it becomes very, like this particular one becomes very dune-like, which is very cool. And easy to work with. You can manipulate it a lot to look less like sand and more like a dark dirt, which is how I've made it look here. You know, I'm not sure I've dry brushed the bases on all of these. Maybe I have, actually. I don't know. I can't really tell anymore. I can't tell anymore. All right, he's done. We got 2 more to... Ooh. So, huh? Why is my battery low on this?
On the mic?
I didn't actually see what it said. It was upside down.
It had to be your mic.
Okay. Oh yeah, it is. The red light's on. Okay, cool. Thank you. Weird. I definitely thought I had plugged this in enough. My bad, everybody. Yeah, so hopefully those basing tips helped you out. Zanzilla.
Did you take a mic from downstairs?
I thought so, yeah, though.
Because I brought one and put one on the table. There it is.
Oh, okay.
That's why you have a dead one. I put the dead one on the charge, the full one.
Hello? Hello, hello. Okay, I'm reconnected in this IC. My apologies. I saw this was on there and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I had just put that on the charge.
Oh, my bad. I think I had a memory of putting it on like maybe the day before or something. Like I guess before the last time I streamed.
Yeah, that's my graph.
Oh. I'm a dum-dum. Didn't basing might be before bed step. You do have citadel basing of some sort. Martian soil? Okay, the Martian soil I think is that their black?
No, it's red. It's Martian.
Oh, right. The Mars. Sorry. I was not thinking properly about that. Yeah, the Mars soil. I like the Martian soil. Okay, so here's the thing about the Martian soil. And yes, you probably do want to do it before bed because you'll want to let it dry overnight. The Martian soil is going to be a little bit different. Unlike how, so this particular one with like how we just looked at this one that was drying a little bit. So you see how this one is drying more like a dune, like it's kind of more of a solid structure. The Martian is actually a crackle paint. And so what that means is when it dries, it's going to go on very solid in the same way that this current one is. It'll be a little less grainy as you work with it. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but you can kind of see the grains in this particular paint. You're not going to see the grains in the Martian paint as much because the Martian paint is, like I said, a crackle paint. So as it dries, cracks are going to start to form in the surface, and it's going to get you this, like, if you've ever seen like really cool lava bases where they have like a black texture paint over top of them, and you end up seeing like between like some very cool looking cracks in that black texture paint, you end up seeing like reds and yellows and such beneath it. Well, that reds and yellows and all of that's painted onto the base prior, and they put the crackle paint on top. Now you don't have to do this necessarily unless you're specifically like wanting a lava effect, then you might want to consider doing it. But by itself, it still looks really cool. Now you still may want to put a color beneath your base. Since you have the Martian color tone, since that's going to end up being like a very beautiful, like rugged red rust color tone, I would almost recommend just putting like black beneath it, just to help the cracks stand out a little bit more. So like paint your base. So like, let's say this is your model without any texture paint on it. Paint the base black. Let that dry thoroughly before you go in, and maybe do a second layer just to make sure you have a really like deep black color tone. Again, let that dry really thoroughly before you put your crackle paint on, because it'll absorb. Like if that paint is wet at all still, it'll just suck it up. I know this from experience because I've literally had it happen to me. So just my FYI, make sure that's dry. You can hit it with like a blow dryer, or if you're really far back, you can maybe try a heat gun, but be careful with that because you can overheat it and immediately like melt your model. So just cautious with that. but put black beneath it, and then that way when the cracks happen, once you've applied the red crackle paint, you'll get this really cool look. Not quite snap, crackle, pop. Doesn't quite snap. It doesn't quite pop, but it does crackle. You see?
On thick.
If you want, like, if you want really big chunks with some deep cracks, you'll want to put it on thick. If you want a lot of really tiny cracks, then actually put it on thinner. Do I have a favorite paint brush brand that I use? You know, I'm not super loyal to a particular brand of paintbrushes, but I do. Yeah, I was gonna say the ones that I do use, and you can't see the name on them anymore. You can kind of see it here on this one. I do tend to use watercolor brushes more than anything else, and I do tend to lean towards this brand called Escada. This particular one is the Escada Parado. You can kind of see Parado right there in the text. I know it's really rubbed off the brush, so you can't see it super well. I use them a lot. But the reason I like these is because they are a synthetic Helsinki sable mix, and they tend to just keep their points pretty well. Like they're really good brushes. They're a little, I want to say that on average, if you are not like a regular art supply buyer and you're only familiar with like buying, say like Army Painter's brushes or even Citadel's brushes, they might seem a little bit on the expensive side, because I think like this size 6, which is the one I use the most, I want to say this is about 40 bucks, give or take tariffs modernly, which seems like a lot for a brush, but I have had this same brush for multiple years. As you can tell, it is beat the hell, but it still works great. And while its tip is at this point getting a little frayed, not so much so in a way that I can't work with still. So I would say Escada Parada, which is also just kind of fun to say. Escada Parada. Escada Parada. Escada Parada. Anyways, or Parado, I think it is. Yeah, it's a good brand. I like it a lot. But like I said, I would say, for me, I just tend to lean towards watercolor brushes. That being said, I still do use Army Painter. Like the brush that I'm currently using to get this texture paint on is an Army Painter brush. I actually really like angled brushes, which is what this one is. You see how it's got like an angled tip instead of like a rounded tip, like how this one does. Like this is a rounded tip. And then this is an angled tip, which I know it's kind of hard. Hold on, let me clear the texture paint off of it here in a second, and I'll show you a little bit easier to see. It's kind of like, well, that's actually looks kind of the same, and that's because it's overloaded with paint. So let me just take care of this last base, and then I'll do my little comparison. Great question, guys. You were thinking about running corn red under, it may be Careburn Crimson shade, then dry brush with a light brown or something. So I think you could definitely do that. I think the thing that's going to happen if you use corn red beneath it, I think it depends on how heavy your dry brush is. So here's what's going to happen. Your corn red and the red color tone that the Martian color is going to dry are going to be very similar in their saturation levels and hue, meaning that they might blend a little bit, and having that red beneath it might it has the potential of diluting or basically not being really as visible. It might, if you want the cracks to be less obvious, then I would say definitely put a red beneath it, because I think that would do it. Now, if you are going to do that, and then once the crackle paint has dried, then you're going to come back in with the Careburn Crimson so that you can put that over top everything, getting that also into those recesses, which would then darken them quite nicely, and then do the light brown dry brush on top of the crackle paint. You could, I would say be very careful about doing dry brushes on the crackle paints. While I do think it is possible,
It is fragile.
yeah, it is a fragile
Spoken from
medium.
experience.
Yeah, it's a fragile medium. We've tried doing a dry brush over top the crackle paint before, and like I said, while it's definitely manageable, I've taken flakes off. I've also taken flakes off when I have tried to like adjust where I was going to put a tuft, for example, as well. So like the stuff pulls off really easily, even if you let it dry for like 24 hours before you even touch it with anything else. It is still kind of a fragile material. Whereas like this stuff, because it's thicker and it's not like lifting off. Because like the thing is the crackle paints are designed to partially lift themselves away from the base material. So it's only gripping it from so many positions, you know? There's literally going to be a surface around it that is not connecting it to the base. So you have that issue. So I would almost say, like, depending on what your look wants to be, I would almost say do everything that you've described doing except the dry brush. I think that is a great idea, Zanzilla. I think it's always a good idea to do a test. Like if you have a spare base that you can use as an experiment, absolutely. Yeah, so this is a size 6. So okay, now that I have the brush cleaned, I can kind of show you more what I mean, because you can actually see the bristles. Okay, so this is my army painter and this is my Escada. So this is a round. This is an angled. See how it's got that like very distinct angle? Like I know it kind of looks like this one's angled too, but that's just because the bristles are frayed, and so the roundness has kind of been borked a little bit, just because it's a little bit of an older brush. But I feel like you can definitely see it more now. Like this is definitely more rounded. This is definitely more angled. I actually really like angled brushes. There's a lot of benefits I think to them, in particular with dry brushing, but also with just doing certain techniques like pulling certain types of straight lines, in handling different types of materials. Like if you have a very angular model, sometimes it's nice to have the angled brush because it kind of functions with it. But the reason I use the size 6 is because it actually gives me really good coverage. And because I tend to paint my models by doing a base coat, my go-to scheme is Grisaille as my prime, also known as slap chop. Then I start using base colors, contrast colors as my bases. I'll then go back in with a wash to darken and add some shadows. And then I tend to come in with a highlight. And I'll either do that highlight as a dry brush, depending on like what the object or person is, or the thing that I'm highlighting is, or I'll do it as almost a wet blend to get the effect I'm doing. Like I do it almost as a wet blend on skin tones a lot of the times. But when I'm doing like the more detailed stuff, that's when I switch down to a little bit of a more like a smaller size brush. Like I believe this might be a size 1. I don't normally go quite this small. It just depends on how small the model is. These B1s are little on the smaller side, especially some of their detailed pieces like the weapons, which is why I've been using this one, but sometimes I'm using like a size 2. Just going back to how I really don't have any brush loyalty, this is an entirely different watercolor brush brand called Princeton, which also I really like, and I particularly like this handle because it's this velvet touch style, and it's just like this nice like kind of soft grippy material. It's very nice to hold on to, and I like this is a square, like a flat brush, as I believe how they refer to them. Yeah, flat. This one's a flat shader. And these also work great for dry brushing. Let me give myself some water. Yeah, 40 USD for a single brush. But like I said, I've had I've had this brush, which was, I think, the $40 one, since before I moved, so at least 2.5 years. And I think I've actually had it for almost 4. And I haven't had to replace it. So that's basically like $10 a year for the amount of time that I've had it, which is pretty good value. Like, I think on average, most people who buy significantly cheaper brushes end up spending more to replace those brushes than I have on replacing this one, which is one of the benefits of like why I get it. Like I said, watercolor brushes work. They're designed to hold a lot of paint and a lot of water, which I find to be very helpful with working with contrast colors especially, but just in general on miniatures, because you tend to want to keep some fluid in those bristles at all times, right? To help you move the paint around, to help you do blending, etc. And so I just find that they work really well, even though they're not technically designed for them in the same way that the army painter has designed this brush specifically for your miniature painting needs. This is designed for watercolorists, but here's the beautiful thing. The techniques overlap. You're just kind of applying it to a different surface. Like contrast colors to me are almost like working with inks or watercolors, but I'm applying it to a 3D surface instead of a 2-dimensional surface like a piece of paper. Okay. It is 8:28. We have about half an hour left. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rim the bases on at least a couple of these guys. Okay, I know you. I think you were part of that group. Yeah, I think it was like you guys. You were my original. So I can rim these 6. Have we decided if we want to do them in brown or black?
I think we decided to do black.
Just to do black? Okay.
We can update the other.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, do I have a black paint up here? I do not. I guess I'll do that later then. Nope, that's fine. I don't really want to get dry brushing these last guys because I'm afraid I'm not gonna finish. I guess I probably will.
Do you still have those 4B1s downstairs?
I actually brought them up, and that's the ones I was just discussing needing to dry brush. But I think what I'll do is I did see one guy's arm got a little pale, so I'm gonna address that. I also completely missed that section on his other arm. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go through, touch these guys up, and we'll just chat a little bit as we wrap up this evening. I do want to remind everybody, and I'll probably repeat this as we get a little closer to our end point too, but tomorrow, no stream. Shay and I are going to be hanging out in person, but we aren't going to be, we might end up recording some things, but we're not going to be like streaming it or anything, so we will not see you guys tomorrow, but we will be back on Tuesday next week. And we'll actually be doing a garden stream. So if you guys have come to one of my garden streams in the past and you enjoyed it, well, you're in luck because we're doing another one. It'll start off a little bit inside. I know, I'm a liar. I literally just said it was a garden stream and you're like, but it's inside. Well, that's because I need to build my next greenhouse. So that's what I'm gonna be working on. And then once that is built, I'll probably have Chaos Cultist help me get it outside into the yard, and I'll start moving some plants in there. And since I don't think that's going to take the entire stream, mostly because I built a couple of these greenhouses before, so I'm a little familiar with the process, so I feel like it's going to probably be pretty easy for me. I say, knock on wood. So I think what we're going to end up doing is repotting a few things that need it. And if I remember to soak the peppers, we can start some peppers as well. Which I know must sound so exciting. I'm excited about it, actually. I had some very successful pepper plants last year, so I'm optimistic. And I'm excited to show off the ones that I do have currently working. Not any pepper plants specifically, but I have a couple tomatoes that are doing all right. I'm excited about. His eyes were not quite as dark as I wanted them to be. Oh my gosh, Luke, I thought you had gone to bed. It's 4:28 in the morning for you? Well, thank you for hanging out with me for so long. My goodness, sir. Very much appreciate you. You're rooting for all my food plants? I'm excited because I've had a couple of cucumbers looking like they're doing all right. We'll see how accurate that remains through the season, but I'm cautiously optimistic that I might be able to pickle some things later this season. Or probably not this season, but probably summer season. I'm very scared, very excited. Yeah, see, this is why we go back over them, because we notice some glaring problems. We can correct them before we do more work. Like the fact that part of that wasn't painted at all. Tisk, Angela, tisk. You're in bed, you're a scout, we're on the move for cadets. So this is breakfast. Well, there you go, I guess. And could be a little hitched up. The other one was not. Alright. That's better now. Alright, let's see the last dude. If I recall, I did some touch-up on him as we were going, like as I was painting the other one, so hopefully there won't be too much, but we'll see. I just realized the command void does not have a backpack. I thought the backpacks were their batteries. I guess not. I guess they must not be.
In part, maybe.
Maybe it's an extra battery. I'm just kind of surprised that like the commander droid would be without, like, you would think
Maybe he wires into something.
Oh, maybe. That's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, maybe he's like plugged into like a separate battery unit or something like that. I could definitely see it. Okay. They're touched up. You send you a pic of shamrock plant you have? I kept alive for the last 4 years since your aunt passed away. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yay.
that's not cool.
I mean, no, sorry, like, the fact that you've kept the plant alive for that long, like, is really cool. The fact that they're passed away is not cool. But, like, the fact that you've been able, like, that you've been maintaining the plant for that long, like, on there, like, in honor of them, that is really sweet. As long as you remember to keep watering, you figure you're doing a good job. Pretty much. I mean, plants generally don't have that much work until you start going like crazy with them. Or start getting like exotic ones. Oh. The violets are picky? Well, yeah, no, there are some things that are picky, of course. And yeah, like, carnivorous plants are a little bit picky, that's for sure. But they're still only picky in the sense that they need distilled water. And I guess a source of bugs. Mine are outside, so that's not a problem. Just doing a little bit of touch up on, I think I found a slightly better color to brighten up some of these guys that got dark. Also, I don't know what happened on this guy's legs, but the paint just lifted or something? I don't know. Or I got way too heavy with my dry brush, but I'm just gonna fix that. Oh my god, he blends so well now. Holy shit, yes.
You do the best.
Yay!
You do the best.
Yay! Thank you! Okay, note to self. Hogrot hide is a good opaque like color that starts to match skeleton horde a little bit. Yep, it starts to like function as kind of like a highlight to it a little bit, which is just helping me brighten some of these boys back up that got a little gray. And it has the just enough yellow in it. Because Skeleton Horde actually has like way more yellow, I think, sometimes than...
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, like... And so that's just what I've found that I've been able to brighten these guys up a little bit with that. Like, it's not like a perfect match, but it's enough that you can definitely like kind of glaze it over top.
We still have
Exist.
Cheerios.
Oh fuck no! I didn't get you any Cheerios.
Last thing we had them.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking.
Please.
Oh, I'm not actually upset. I was more just like, oh man, we were out today. We should have just swung by.
Please.
Chill. Hello, Troy. Hell yeah, I'm so pleased. Because the one issue with sometimes trying to go back and use contrast colors to correct or like reemphasize the color that you wanted before is it starts to just get too dark. Like it just does have the problem of it layers too heavily and you get too dark. I'm so glad I found a good way to bring some of the warmth back in without taking too much away from the model. Manage more water. You're using the stream as a timer for Killian. When you're done, he has to brush his teeth and start getting ready for bed. Nice.
That's cute.
That is cute. It's super cute. Dude, I'm so impressed by how much that brought them back. Like this, the ones that are drying is the batch that I really like the look of, and now I feel
My
like
guides look so different now.
what your oh yeah no yours are so much paler than mine. That's okay though. That's okay.
I think mine matches the Lego better.
I do think yours matches the Lego better. I don't know. There's something about like the slightly darker tone though that I really like on them. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up a picture of E1s and hopefully not be really disappointed with myself. E1 droid. Yeah, I think mine kind of match what Filoni does, and I think yours more match what happens, what the actual like in
Movie.
the movie look like. I
Yeah.
think is what happened. Is like, yeah, I ended up going the Filoni direction, making him a little
And I
darker.
went the original George Lucas direction.
You did,
You
you
heathen.
did. I know I am such a scoundrel. I'm such a well. Here's the thing, I really like Filoni's Star Wars. I know that's probably controversial for some of you guys, but it is the truth.
Heresy.
I know it is heresy. Cool channel. Thanks again for the info. My pleasure, Mario. Thank you so much. You'll give the Escada Parado brushes a try. Yeah, you can find them pretty easily at any, like, well, I can't say any, but I find that they're available at most art supply stores. So, like, if you have, like, a Michael's or a Blick or maybe, like, a local art supply store, you can find them there. You can also, of course, get them off Amazon. I will say there are some like variants. Parado is the style, Escada is the brand, I believe. I might have that reversed. I think it's an Italian, I believe it's an Italian company. But yeah, check them out, give them a try. Like I said, I like watercolor paintbrushes. So if you are at a store and you're like, hey, this is, because they always label, if you're at an art supply store, they'll just like label them as like watercolor brush or watercolor slash acrylic, and then they'll be like oil brushes is normally the segregation of them. Sometimes they'll just be like, these are exclusively watercolor, these are exclusively acrylic, and these are exclusively oil. Generally, I find that acrylic and watercolor brushes, you can kind of like intermingle. They're very, very similar because acrylic and watercolor paints are relatively similar. Like the watercolor brushes, the benefit to them is like, as I said earlier, they're intended and designed to hold more moisture, which happens to, I think, help me at least a lot when I'm painting miniatures. Yeah, go check out Blix. And if they don't have the Escada exactly, just look through the watercolor brushes and feel their tips, give them like, handle them and everything, and just see what feels comfortable and what you think might feel good in your hand. Because generally, like, I'm not a super brand exclusive person, but I do think like generally watercolor brushes tend to work really well for miniatures. You're glad this stream is so chill? No fuss, no muss, no mess, no stress. Art mess is still art. Heck yeah. I love that. I'm really glad that you've been enjoying the stream. It's something that I'm so pleased that I got them a little bit more like matchy to their other, like, oh look, they blend so well. They blend so well, guys. Oh my gosh, Havman, thank you so much for the $2 donation. UNCC are the best. Have lots of fun tomorrow. We absolutely will. Kita, are you ready for lap time? I think Kita's upset at me for not giving her lap time yet. And she's like, Mom, I want my evening snugs. This is normally evening snug time. What is going on? Oh, his normal bedtime's 8:30, but because it's going into the weekend, he can stay up a little bit longer. Well, I'm glad that he was able to stay up longer. Okay, let's go over one final time what the remaining schedule is for this week and then what we're doing in next week. Gosh, I'm so pleased with how these turned out. I'm like, genuinely, the fact that that saved that so much is exceptional. Okay. We are not streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a slight day off for me in the sense that I will be hanging out with Shay, but we are going to be not live. We're just going to be going and having some fun and hanging out with each other, which I'm very excited for. So no stream tomorrow. We will be back. Me and my very loud Kita, are going to be back on Tuesday. And we are going to be having our garden stream. So if you want to hang out with me outside for a little bit, we're getting down and dirty, that is going to be the time. I'm really excited for that stream. It should be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm feeling good about it. That will probably be Tuesday. I don't know exactly what my Thursday plan is. I might be starting my scale model project that I want to do this month, which is a Star Wars TIE Interceptor. So that should be really cool. That should be starting, if not next week, the following week, but that's sort of my like rough idea. And then of course we'll be back on Friday with another casual chill stream. I might be wrapping up these guys like that. We might be down to our last little bit of B1s at that point. So that should be awesome. It'll be good to have them done. Oh my gosh, Mario, thank you so much for the $2 donation. Cool, chill stream. Take care. Well, thank you. And you take care as well. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for us. And then Shay and I should be back with a normal Saturday stream next week. Yeah, I think that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this evening. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Thank you guys so much for the positive feedback. I really, really enjoy that you guys are liking this style stream. So thank you guys so much, and have a good night. Have a lovely hobby night, everybody. And I'll see you all next time. Bye. Bye.